Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Avernum 6. Last episode, we reported in on all the quests we had completed, and took a look over here, cleared out an ogre and some undead, found a spell, and basically reported in on random stuff. Now, well, let's march our way southwards a bit and find our way towards, whatever it's called. Fort Remote. It's gotta be somewhere. There is a dark tunnel in the west wall of the cavern. The ground in front of it is covered with pools of slime and broken bits of carapace. You can hear hissing and clicking sounds coming from inside. Let's not go in right now. Might be related to that. We'll take a look at a bit. First, down this way. Okay, that's that way in. That's probably the way to the claim. Oh, what the hell, let's speak. This is the only young soldier sitting at this fire. He divides his time between watching the road and nagging the older campaigneers to do the same. They mostly ignore him. When he sees you, he nods.
Ah, good to see another warrior on the road. Hope the day finds you well. I am Sergeant Cage.
What can you tell me about this area? He looks at your insignia and frowns.
Sorry, Private, I'm not sure you're supposed to be here. Maybe you should go back to your commanding officer.
Any hostiles nearby?
Just some pockets of skeleton infestation. Don't have the forces to burn them out. And the occasional goblin. Nothing like in the northeast. No slits or raiders.
He sounds like this is a huge disappointment to him. I'll be moving on. He nods and waves you on. Well, at the very least, we can take a look at this claim. Pit goo. There is a pit in this tavern full of mold and goo. Some of the goo is moving. There is some sort of wooden marker in the middle of the cave surrounded by pools of slime. From back here, the goop can't sense you, but it's sure to detect you if you get closer. Like now? Okay, it's resistant to cold. Not fire, though. And there we go. Simple enough. There is a small claim marker here. It reads, this cave claimed by Mother Alice under terms of Avernite law. Okay then. Anything else down here to look at? Not really. Bunch of slimes out here, though. Searing slimes, in fact. Not as resistant to cold. And there we go. Alright. Some healing herbs. Alright, I suppose we can take a look in here, see what's in there. Suede gloves. Huh. +3 armor, +2 spellcraft and resistance. That's handy. Take 'em. Alright, let's see what's in here. Suddenly a horde of bugs pours out in the tunnel. Attracted by the vibrations of your footsteps, they swarm out looking for prey. They are scuttlers, a pest that appeared in northern Avernum a few years ago. They have slowly been migrating south, causing all sorts of problems wherever they appear. Because, of course. That is indeed a lot of scuttlers. And that killed a lot of them. Thank you, area spells. And that killed a bunch of those. Sure, they swarm, but they're really not that bad. I mean, they die so quickly, a good area spell kills them all. So, what was that about not having the numbers to get rid of them? Because I'm pretty sure we just did. Alright. Let's go take a look at Fort Remote. You have reached the western terminus of the Great Cave. It is Fort Remote, the century-old barrier between the civilized core of Avernum and the western reaches. The tunnels beyond Fort Remote are harsh and barren, suitable only for brigands and monsters. There have long been rumors that once those tunnels concealed a passage up to the surface. There may have even been truth to it. Fort Remote itself is crumbling and neglected. There are signs of little traffic through it of late. Once the beasts of the western reaches were a threat to the Great Cave. It has not been true for a long time. Touch. Okay. Let's see. You get your first good taste of the quality of the defenses at Fort Remote. An aging, balding soldier, still a private after years of service, leans against the gate, sleeping, standing up. When you get close, he starts awake. Sorry. Visiting Fort Remote, hey? You need orders to get in. Commander's orders. Standard security. Security's important. I'd like to know more about Fort Remote. He tells you everything he knows. Understaffed, unthreatened, unimportant. Caravans of supplies sometimes pass through into the western reaches, but he doesn't know why. I'm on a mission for Gladwell, a wizard in Patrick's Tower. Really? Patrick's Tower? Where all the wizards are? Well, I'd better let you in. I don't want to make the wizards mad. Open the gates! The gates behind him slowly begin to open. Welcome to the fort. Everyone is in the north half. Thank you. We will indeed take a look. Much of the broad passage through the middle of Fort Remote has been set aside for training new recruits. The sergeant moves among them, barking orders and giving tips. Occasionally, she gives a lesson. Today, she seems to be focusing on the finer points of using two weapons at once. You watch for a while. Eventually, you get her attention, though she seems to resent the drain on her time. Alright, I'm Sergeant K, and as you can see, I've got a lot of worms I need to get ready to face the Slozerikai, so what do you want? What is your job here? And you see, I'm trying to forge these lumps into proper soldiers, and I'm not given much time to do it. If you don't have any specific business with me, I need you to move on. Tell me more about wielding two weapons. What? Didn't you get proper training? You think back to Sergeant Nichols' lessons about how best to be prompt and avoid dangerous duty. Apparently not. If you have two weapons that are sufficiently light, you can attack with both at the same time. Are there any drawbacks? Well, you wanted the protection of a shield for starters. Also, your blows with each weapon will be weaker than you might deliver with each weapon by itself, so be prepared for that. And that is why you might not want to do two-handed wielding. I prefer the sword. I prefer the sword and board myself. A little offense and some protection. That's how I roll. And I can do this? You have two arms, don't you? Then I guess you can. To equip a second... Okay. When dual wielding, you will have a large penalty to your damage and hit chance. Sergeant K continues her lessons in the finer points of wielding two blades at the same time. The young soldiers pay rapt attention. As harsh as she is, they are eager to grasp anything that might save their lives. Eventually, you regain her attention. What? What is it? Can you train me? What? and expend what little time I need to use to train these recruits? Not likely. I demand that you train me. She looks at the insignia on your shoulder and laughs. Getting a swelled head, are you? You can't boss me around. You work for a living just like me. Now move on and let me get something done. Alright, alright. And that's the way out west. We'll not go out there right now. Let's take a look around the place first. Supply depot, merchant quarters. Let's see. Do 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 do. Hee hee hee. Nothing in that one. There are several wounded soldiers sitting by these beds, recuperating from their wounds. As bad as they have it, they are all eager to get well and return to the Eastern Gallery and the war. You hear a lot of tales of vicious action against the Slozerikai. They are a deadly and implacable foe. Even after all you have done, it's enough to make you nervous. Fort Remote contains a large hospital where wounded soldiers from all over Avernum come to recuperate. Considering how fierce the war is, it is surprisingly empty. It must be difficult to safely carry the wounded this far. However, there are several soldiers recovering here, all tended to by one young priestess. She moves from bed to bed, spreading good cheer and changing bandages. She occasionally casts a minor healing spell. When she is through with her rounds, she turns to greet you. Welcome, soldier. I am healer Danica. I see that you seem to be in good health. I am happy to see it. Before I return to my studies, how can I help you? Tell me about your work here. I look after the wounded from the war. Those who need time to recuperate but can safely travel, they are sent here to me. I also try to aid those who suffer from other afflictions. There are diseases that can be truly harmful but do not show themselves on the skin. What happens to those wounded who can't travel? In that case, my brother and sister healers in the Eastern Gallery tend to them as best as they can. Also, once they can travel, to save their time and resources, they are put into wagons and brought here. Fort Remote is quiet. It is a good place for the wounded to regain their health, and with luck to rejoin the fight. I imagine perhaps, due to the long trip, this is where they'd bring those who suffer injuries that are not severe enough that they can't be moved, but severe enough that they need time to rest. Perhaps a broken arm, or I don't know, an infection from a cut or something? That would make sense. I mean, if it was something like a stabbing through the liver, then they might not be able to be moved, but other things like that, in that gray area, here's a place they can go to. What is that other affliction you treat? Sometimes those that have taken too much scribbing have come to me, slaves to that foul herb who wish to be free. I help them as much as I can. And yet it is a long, slow, painful process no matter how we proceed. What do you use to cure them? Time, resolve, the comfort of my presence, and outlasting the pain. That is the only cure I know of for the eater of the herb. Outlasting it. Is there no faster cure for reliance on the herb? I have heard rumors that some alchemists have created a faster cure. I am skeptical. It may be possible to quickly cure one of his or her reliance upon it, but there is sure to be a deeper cost. Most likely. Can you teach me any of your rituals? Mass healing and curing. Expensive. Sadly can't buy very much. What are you studying? I am studying techniques for returning one from the very brink of death. When a soldier is too wounded and consciousness slips away, it is generally necessary to bring that soldier back to town to be revived. However, there are ways to bring an unconscious warrior back to life out in the field. Using a spell is one way. Using a specially scribed scroll infused with holy power is another. What is that spell? There is a powerful holy ritual for the restoration of a wounded soul to functionality. It is rare and difficult to learn, but many priests in the Eastern Gallery have been taught it to aid in the war. Perhaps one of them can teach it to you. And where might I get one of these scrolls? With great effort, I have learned to scribe them. With the proper ingredients for the ink and careful focusing of holy energy, I can infuse a sheet of vellum with the proper power. Alas, I am missing a key ingredient of the ink, so my work in that area has ceased. Well, maybe I can find the ingredients for you. Perhaps you could. I know it is gruesome, but I need some of the blood or similar fluid from a beast with great regenerative properties. For example, not far into the western reaches there is a large cave worm. A nasty, fanged beast, but one with the capability to regenerate its wounds very quickly. I have repeatedly sent warriors to, drain its liquids. Cut its side and bring me some of the ichor it exudes, and I can create several more of these marvelous scrolls. She hands you a nice clay flask for the gathering of the goo. How can I find this worm? It lives in a low cavern directly northwest of here. Look for its slime trails. Should I kill it? I would strongly prefer it if you did not. Of course, if you damaged it too heavily, you might enrage it, and that would be very dangerous. Message received. That's the bathroom. That's the barracks. There are several caravan drivers and guards sitting in this mess hall, quietly eating and talking amongst themselves. They won't talk to you. A grim, secretive bunch. You meet the cook of Fort Remote, a slender Nephil wearing a leather apron. Nephil cooks tend to have a bad reputation in the Avernite army, as they tend to have flexible standards for what varieties of meat are acceptable. And that's why Michael's the cook. She looks you over and notes the insignia on your shoulder. A soldier. Good to feed that. I have a hot meal for you. I am Rima. How are your supplies holding out? We have plenty of food here. We are a fort, and we have wounded soldiers. King Staris makes sure we are supplied, and we can hunt the western reaches. My food is very good, and yet I get abuse. All the time abuse. And where does the food you are sent come from? Much comes from the Great Portal. Upper Avernum sends food, and it is spread around. We use it to feed the soldiers. Why do they abuse you? All the jokes about the cooking of the Nephilim, what we serve, where we get it. It is all the time insults. And it is not our fault of humans for being so delicate. Delicate? To refuse a nice, properly done steak of giant rat. Good meat that they would just throw away. It's not a problem with Nephil, but with picky human. Sure. I need some rations. What do you wish? A roll or some nice roasted meat? Some meat'll work. You were brought a piece of smoked meat still on the bone. You asked what sort of animal it was originally part of. She says, lizard. Yes, lizard. Take, enjoy. You put it away in your pack. Thank you very much. Alright, that's the ladder up. Around here. More wounded soldiers. Yep. Spray mold, healing elixir. Thank you. Another bathroom, another bathroom. Alright, and what's down in this area? Fort Remote is the keep farthest from any warfare, and Avernum has filled it with the soldiers at once farthest from any warfare. You bear this in mind when you meet the commander, or rather wake him up. He was slumped behind his desk, snoring gently, when you entered. You poke him gently on the arm, and he starts awake. He is an old man with white thinning hair, and his armor hangs loosely from his frame.
Well, you're new. I'm Commander Castrone. You must have orders to be here. You're inside, after all. How can I help you?
Tell me about Fort Remote.
Well, Fort Remote has a proud history. Used to guard this whole passage from invasion. Now, well, I'm no fool. We aren't important in the grand scheme of things. Not now, anyway. So I'm just watching the place until something attacks from the west, and then Fort Remote will be important again.
What did Fort Remote defend against?
Once, the western reaches were full of demons and drakes and cases and everything else you can imagine. Crops wouldn't grow there, and the tunnels were hot and harsh, so we didn't want the land. But the monsters did. Of course, all the worst of them were wiped out long ago, but they'll be back. They always are.
What happens here now?
Well, we train new recruits. A lot of the fresh soldiers are sent here to learn how to fight. And we have a healer. A lot of the wounded warriors come here for treatment.
So don't worry about us. We contribute plenty, even though we aren't fighting. You really think Fort Ramon will have to fight again?
Of course. Right now, the western reaches are quiet. But if Avernum has learned anything, it is that any place that seems quiet is only waiting to be infested again. Why, look at what happened in the time of Shades.
What?
Well, 20 or so years ago, we thought everything out there was quiet. But it turns out Rentar Irno, that mad old Vanatai, was out there plotting against Avernum. See what I mean? Region is quiet, well, it'll be noisy soon enough.
Commander Castron leans back in his chair and chats with you. You soon find that you have to listen to a lot of his words before you can get in a few of your own. You have little doubt that Castron was once a sharp officer. Now, well, you hope that Fort Remote doesn't get attacked anytime soon. Seen any action recently?
No, not a bit. Not even shipwrights or scuttlers. Completely quiet. The only visitors we've had are the caravans.
Caravans?
The castle sends them, full of supplies and tools. They stop for a night, eat, gamble, and then head west into the reaches. Don't say where they're headed, and I don't ask.
You don't want to know?
I'm far too old to be so foolish. I don't get curious anymore. King Stars looks at the big plans, and I watch the little details. We train new soldiers and heal broken ones. That is our job, and we do it well.
Can I get any supplies or training?
For training, talk to Sergeant K. She's a sharp one. For food, talk to Marima. She a good enough cook, but don't eat any meat she cooks unless you're sure you can identify it.
I've been sent from Patrick's Tower to do something in the secret upper tunnels. Is that alright?
Really? I always heard rumors there were old tunnels up there. No idea there really were. Well, if you have orders, go ahead. I don't feel involved.
Right. A young man is chained to this pillar. He is healthy and muscular, though he looks like he's just received a beating at someone's hands. A bowl of gruel and a mug rest at his feet, though he has to bend down like a lizard to eat. He looks at you and smirks.
You look competent, like you actually work and fight. Not like the slubs here. I'm Dick Sierra. Say, could you give me a drink?
He looks down at the mugs. I suppose. You lift the mug to touch Sierra's lips, and he drinks deeply. Then he smiles.
Thanks. Appreciate it. It's not the chains I mind, it's the boredom. Wish they'd just ship me out already.
How'd you get those bruises?
I got caught. Some soldiers tried to make me go where I didn't want to. We had a disagreement and they subdued me. But don't worry. Whatever they are, they still feel what I did to them.
Why are you here?
I'm a deserter from the Avernum army. That's right, I was trained here, put in armor, given a spear, marched all the way to the Eastern Gallery. 2 fights with the Slith Horde, and I'd had enough. I'd heard things. I knew where I had to go.
You were trained here?
Yeah, right after I signed up. A lot of soldiers were trained here, and now I'm back. How about that?
Why'd you run off?
Well, I'm brave enough. Decent enough with a spear. The Slith Horde? There's no stopping them. In my last battle, I saw Escalon, the Mad Burner. You know why they call her that? She's a wizard. Saw her turn 10 of us to dust in one blast. We held them back that day, but the losses... I'd had enough.
What did you hear? Where were you trying to go?
I was going to the Abyss. I was trying to slip through Fort Saffron when they got me. Beat me and sent me here. Slith Horde isn't the only powered out here. So with the Abyss, they have a new ally. Someone who will protect them.
Who's that?
Sorry, soldier, you'll have to find out on your own. When it's too much for you, and when you see that there's no hope, go to the Abyss. It's the only place that will be protected from the Slith Horde in the end.
Where will you be sent?
I don't know. Commander of Fort Saffron wanted to execute me. Then they found out they needed workers in the Western Reaches, so that's where I'm going.
And what will you be doing?
I have no idea. Not like anyone is in a hurry to tell me things. I'm being sent out to do hard labor. For months or years. At least I'll be as far from the Slith Horde as I can be, so it's not all bad.
Okay, then. It appears that the whole southern half of Fort Remote has been abandoned. The halls and barracks are quiet and dusty, and all the soldiers have retreated to this northern half for warmth and comfort. Well, aside from this... This was once a busy magical workshop. Then all the mages were pulled away, most likely to serve on the front against the Slith Horde. Much of their equipment still sits here, slowly accumulating mold. And yet in their haste to depart, they might have left something interesting or hazardous behind. The northern passages have been blocked with magical barriers. Well, I'm not going to go investigate them right now. Maybe sometime in the future. Let's see. Old empty barracks. Nothing going on there. This nearly forgotten hall is full of art. Faded paintings and attractive pottery line the walls, bearing silent testimony to the eccentricity of one of Fort Remote's commanders in decades past. As you admire the work, you think you feel a cool draft. You're unsure where it's coming from. There's a secret button somewhere. I remember that. Remembering what Gladwell told you, you look behind this painting. Sure enough, there is a switch on the wall. You flip it. A few moments later, a section of the wall behind you slides away. It reveals a dusty, dark corridor, seemingly abandoned and forgotten for many years. We'll go there after we take a look upstairs. of which there appears to be very little. Yes, there is very little upstairs. Also, I think the claim is, like, right out here somewhere. Oh, a job board. 2 caravans of supplies have recently departed from Fort Remote into the western reaches. They never reached their planned destination at Classified. Anyone who can discover what happened to both caravans and report the information to Commander Castrone will receive a cash bounty. The population of unstable firebats in the western reaches has recently exploded. If their numbers are not reduced, these volatile creatures may spread their destruction to the gates of Fort Remote itself. Anyone who can eliminate 4 flocks of these creatures and report the feat to Commander Castrone will receive a bounty of valuable equipment. There is a map pinned to the job board depicting a complicated twisting network of tunnels. You don't recognize the area it depicts, and it hasn't been labeled. A note scrawled at the top says, "Delivered to Prenville, miner and scout heading into western reaches." Also, I just realized you leveled up. Saving up your points. Alright, how close is it? Not as close as I'd like. You emerge into the western reaches, a dry, barren, occasionally volcanic warren of tunnels. Even though these tunnels are right next to the heart of Avernum, even after many decades, nobody has been able to profitably settle out here. Not even the luminescent fungus on the ceiling grows properly. And yet there are signs of recent travel. Numerous wagon trains have passed through recently, slowly wearing stretches of shallow ruts into the stone. Something is happening to the north, but you can find no hints of what. Well, we calmed those wargs, so that's something. Maybe we'll take a look. In the next episode, most likely. For now, I suppose we can take a look upstairs. Alright, let's see here. You enter the hidden passage in the solid rock above Fort Remote. Your feet kick up dust from dead molten lichen, making you cough. Nobody's been up here for years and years. If Gladwell hadn't discovered the existence of this place, it might well have been forgotten. It is very quiet and very cold. Ahead, cave quakes have collapsed several of the walls and pillars, leaving an unstable and chaotic jumble of rock for you to navigate through. Though it is still, you can sense powerful magic in the air. Faint here, but stronger with every step you take. This could be a very dangerous complex to explore carelessly. Well, we may take a few peeks at stuff, but for the most part, it's the door with the red symbol on it. Sonic bats. They daze. Oh, dear me. Can't see it. Can see that one. Aha. Okay. Daze wears off if someone hits it. Easy with the daze, damn it. Oh, quit that. There we go. Bloody hell, that was annoying. Oh, there's another. Excuse me. Doesn't look like there's anything else up here. You reach the first vault door. You wipe away the dust and mold and find that someone has marked it with a single stripe of blue paint. Green stripe. Red stripe. Gray stripe. Red is what we wanted. This is the room Gladwell told you to find. It is extremely cold and very peculiar. You can't imagine what sort of experiment was taking place here. In the alcove to the north you see 6 statues. As you watch the statues, they occasionally seem to shiver, as if insubstantial forms are drifting out of them and then back in. The 6 statues are all staring at a magical circle in the center of the room. The circle is empty. I'm concerned. When you step into the magical circle, you look for the seal Gladwell sent you to break. It's already here, and already broken. Fragments of clay litter the floor. You hear a series of low moans. They come from the statues in the northern alcoves. As you watch in horror, the statues begin to crumble. Fragments of stone fall to the floor, revealing the spectral forms that were trapped within. The spirits step out in the remaining shells of stone, keening as they go. You look at the ghosts. They are strange figures, insubstantial but clearly visible, wearing archaic clothes styles. Gladwell must have wanted you to free them. But to your alarm, they are not peaceful. They drift toward you, arms outstretched, trails of frost appearing on the floor beneath. The magical circle seems to provide no protection. They are free, and they are hungry. Right, let's run. Oh, they are very powerful. Your blows seem to be having no effect on these old spirits. The rents you leave in their insubstantial forms soon seal shut. However, the spirits are starting to seem distracted. They continue to attack you, but they also look wistfully at the southern passage. Well, let's run. I'll take it. Run. Well, I think that's not good. She's not getting out. Well, we escaped. Something odd happens. The spirits lose interest in you. Whatever they need to sustain themselves, trying to drain your energy is not giving it to them. They seem to be fading slightly. They turn and drift away from you, heading for the exit. As they go, you start to feel unaccountably terrified. Somehow, they are more frightening leaving than attacking. As you shudder and attempt to maintain control, they drift away. Whatever Gladwell wanted has been accomplished. Huh. They open the door and they're all gone. And I'm not gonna look in those other doors right now. Would probably result in death. Well, I suppose we should report to Gladwell. Not really much else to do. Alright. Back to Patrick's Tower. I just hope what we did... that could not have been good. Gladwell, what did you have us do? I opened the cell above Fort Remote and something tried to kill me. You tell Gladwell what happened. He nods. Interesting. I had thought that this might happen. Of course, it was just as likely that their spirits would have fled without touching you. It does not matter. Doesn't matter. They tried to kill me! Quit whining. You lived. And you did not think you would receive rewards of true value without risk, did you? Go south to the private quarters south of Sortengard's workshop. I will unlock my private quarters for you. Help yourself to what you find within. I am sure you will be mollified. And when you have regained your courage, speak with me again. Now that you have proved yourself, I can continue to make use of you. But why did you want those spirits freed in the first place? A good question. If you aided me further, I could tell you my true goal. To learn that, though, you would have to earn my trust. Fine. What more work do you want? I'm pleased to hear it. The task is simple, although it requires more travel. The village of Martis lies far to the east. Just northeast of it is a natural feature of some interest. It is a series of spiral tunnels which have long been infested with dark magical energy, the sort that draws the undead. This power has been repressed. Descend into the spiral. You will currently find it quite safe. At the deepest point of the spiral, you will find a magic circle.
Break the circle, then return to me.
Where did all of that dark energy come from?
There are many theories. The peasantry and Bertus will, I am sure, tell you all of them. The origin does not matter, only the persistence and malevolence of the force in that place.
And what will happen when I break the circle?
I think we will all be interested in finding out. It might be perilous, and if that scares you, let me know so I can find an adventurer in possession of a spine.
So you want me to go into the Myrtus Circle. What the hell is this? Gladwell has a large collection of spellbooks now spread throughout the tower. They are all marked on the cover with his symbol, a warning to those who would steal his knowledge. Fortunately, he allowed you to enter here. The books describe techniques for calling magical energy from air, water, sky, or stone. No matter where you are, you can find something to zap people. Your skill with the spell Lightning Spray increases. Impressive. A Wisdom Crystal. Crystal Woven Chitin. Take it. Great. So, first Gladwell had us unleash some very dangerous spirits onto the world. And now, you want us to go. Oh, no. Now you want us to go and break a magic circle in the Myrtus Spiral, which is apparently safe at the moment. Gladwell, I am really not sure if we should be working for you. That said, that's going to be the end of this episode. Went on longer than I expected. Next episode, I think we'll take a look at the area to the northwest here. See what we can find and do. That'll be in the next episode, so until then, I'm Chester44. That is Ortas, Michael, Amar, and Rika. This has been an Avernum 6 Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.